Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Glad to be here.
Make sure to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Today, we are immersing ourselves in something I am just unbelievably excited about. It's the inaugural Greatest Rivalry series between the Springboks and the All Blacks.
Oh, it is going to be massive. Absolute fireworks.
Right. I mean, we are talking about a 4-test series, 3 matches right in the heart of South Africa, and then a massive finale over at a neutral venue in Baltimore. The sheer history here is incredible, but our core mission today is to look at a very specific, honestly highly stressful mathematical possibility.
The dreaded dead heat.
Exactly. What actually happens if this epic clash ends in a 2-all tie? Both of us are just thrilled about this tour, and honestly, former Springbok Hanyani Shamanj hit the nail on the head. He said it would be the greatest tour of all time if it gets down to 2-all.
He is absolutely right. But what's fascinating here is just the inherent risk of a 4-game series.
Yeah.
It is so rare in the modern era to have an even number of matches like this. You know, you are essentially daring the universe to end it in a draw.
Which is a logistical nightmare.
It really is. And I mean, we've seen this movie before, right? Think back to the 2017 British and Irish Lions series in New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the stalemate.
Right. That series famously ended tied 1-all, with the final match ending in a draw. And if you remember, the 2 captains, Kieran Reid and Sam Warburton, they had to stand there and awkwardly lift this trophy together.
Nobody looked happy about it.
Nobody. Neither of them wanted to share it. It just left this lingering sense of unresolved tension, you know?
So, because a 2-all draw is a very real possibility here, you have to wonder how the organizers are preparing. We looked at what SA Rugby's General Manager of Operations, Yusa Jackson, had to say about this.
And he was pretty transparent about it.
Yeah, he said both teams were explicitly asked during the planning phase if they would be happy to shake hands in Baltimore and just share the trophy.
And you can imagine how that went over.
Oh, yeah. Their answer was just a resounding, unified, no, we want a winner. So now SA Rugby is actively exploring tiebreakers, like extra time or sudden death.
But okay, let's unpack this. Because it's like, imagine watching this incredible 2-hour action movie, and right before the final showdown, the screen just cuts to black. That's what a tied series feels like. But I have to push back a little here.
Go for it.
If they fight for 4 matches and they are mathematically equal, does artificially forcing a winner via a tiebreaker cheapen the brutality and effort of a 2-all series tie?
Well, I mean, I see your point. Mathematically, sure, a draw is the honest truth.
Yeah.
But you have to look at why a definitive winner matters for the legacy of an inaugural tour like this.
Because it's the first one. Exactly. The team's desire for a decisive outcome, it really just reflects the ultimate competitive spirit of rugby. They don't want to go through 320 minutes of sheer physical trauma just to shrug and share a piece of metal. They want a definitive champion for the history books.
Quick reminder for you if you're enjoying this. Don't forget to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. So they absolutely demand a winner.
Yes, unequivocally.
But if extra time doesn't produce points, the natural next step in most sports is a shootout, right? Like penalty kicks in soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But in rugby, that is wildly controversial.
Oh, it is the nuclear option.
Yeah, we were listening to the Box Unpacked podcast with legends like Schalkberger and Jean de Villiers, and they were talking about this exact scenario. Berger has this genuine fear of a goal kickoff.
Which is a terrifying thought for any forward.
He was joking about it, saying, well, the Box might actually have more kickers on the field than the All Blacks do, so maybe it favors them. But joking aside, he insists the series cannot come down to that.
And Jean de Villiers' reaction was just immediate. He literally just said, please no.
Just absolute dread.
Completely. Because there is an infamous precedent for this. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to look at the 2009 Heineken Cup semifinal.
Right. Cardiff Blues and Leicester Tigers.
Exactly. That match ended in a penalty shootout. And the image that haunts rugby fans to this day is Martin Williams stepping up to take a kick.
And he was a flanker, right?
Yes, a flanker. He missed the crucial kick from right in front of the posts. And this perfectly illustrates de Villiers' core argument. A penalty shootout requires a highly specialized skill set.
A skill set that forwards just aren't meant to have.
Precisely. You have guys who spend their entire lives mastering the physical, brutal art of the scrum and the breakdown, deciding an 80-minute physical battle of strategy and strength with a localized, specialized kicking contest. It just feels unjust to the players.
Okay, so the players reject kicking entirely. Berger thinks sharing a trophy after scoreless extra time might be the only way, even if they hate it. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. The bombshell.
Jean de Villiers dropped a massively controversial alternative. He said, if the series ends 2-all, the All Blacks should just be declared the winners.
Which is wild to hear from a Springbok legend.
It really is. Why would he even suggest that?
Well, his logic actually makes a lot of sense when you break it down. South Africa has a massive home ground advantage in this format.
Because 3 of the 4 games are in South Africa.
Right. You've got the altitude on the high veld, the incredibly hostile home crowds, no time zone changes for the Bucks. And then the 4th game is neutral in Baltimore.
Oh.
So de Villiers argues that for New Zealand to travel across the world, face all of that, and still achieve a 2-2 draw, that is technically a much greater feat.
Wow. But man, his fellow legends were not having it.
Not at all.
Schmange immediately shot back, saying, "You are feeling very kind today." And Berger compared it to retaining the Ashes in cricket.
Which is funny, but in the Ashes, you retain the trophy because you won it previously. This is a brand new series.
Exactly. So let me ask you, is it actually fair to penalize a team for their own home field advantage when crowning a champion?
This raises an important question, right? Because we are looking at a fundamental clash here. You have fairness in the format, meaning 2 wins equals 2 wins no matter where they are played. That's what Berger is arguing.
Right. The math is the math.
Exactly. But then you have fairness in the context, which is de Villiers' point. Winning 2 games in hostile high-altitude territory is objectively harder. But trying to use that context as an official tiebreaker is incredibly messy.
It's a complete mess. So, just to summarize where we're at with this incredible tour, the excitement is through the roof. The teams absolutely refuse to accept a draw and share the cup, but the legends themselves are having huge anxiety over how to decide a winner fairly without using a kicking shootout.
Which leaves us in a fascinating spot. I mean, think about it. If a kicking shootout is unfair to the forwards and a draw is completely unsatisfying to literally everyone, is it time for rugby to invent an entirely new, radical tiebreaker method?
Well, like what?
Well, maybe something that tests the whole team, not just a specialized kicker. Imagine a sudden death period where you have to score a full worked try. Scrummaging, passing, tackling, the whole game is tested, rather than just teeing up a ball.
Now that is a brilliant point. A real test of rugby, not just target practice. So we want to hear from you. How would you resolve a 2-all tie between the Boks and the All Blacks? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments.
Yeah, let us know if you'd want a shootout or extra time or something totally new.
And one last time, be sure to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.